wonderful and safe weekend. Two-part live, everybody. Dog Bounty Hunter has spoken with News Nation. He has given his commentary pertaining to the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. He feels as if the child is alive and stashed away somewhere. Also, father, son arrested, charged with murder in Georgia. We're going to briefly discuss that situation. Thank you for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Big Angie 129 Cash App. Let's get it started, everybody. This is Miss Banfield.
Parent, it pains me to say this, and it's going to pain you to hear it, but there really are boogeymen out there. There really are. There are evil people who snatch kids away from the one place on earth that they should be completely safe. Their own beds. Just ask the parents of Elizabeth Smart. Just ask the parents of Jessica Lunsford, or Polly Klaas, or Madeline McCann. Those are kids who are tucked in, tight, 1 minute, gone the next. And sometimes these kids make it home again. Think about Elizabeth Smart. Oftentimes, sadly, they do not. Always, though, the people who love them keep hoping. And when the headlines fade, the rest of the world moves on. But tonight, we are all hoping for the safe return of Sebastian Rogers. And if you have forgotten Sebastian, and I hope you have not, we are past the 6-month mark from the night that he went to bed back in February, but was gone by morning. And when I say gone, I mean gone. No notes, no leads. Sebastian's clothes, even his shoes, were still there. He's 15. He's from the Nashville area, and Sebastian has autism, which does not make the search or the investigation any easier. The Tennessee police and the FBI have been on the case from the start, but so far, nothing. The feds even put up a $50,000 reward for information leading to Sebastian Rogers' return. And now, that reward has doubled to $100,000, thanks to America's most famous bounty hunter. I want to welcome back to the program Sebastian Rogers' father, Seth Rogers, and also with us is Tony Mathis. He speaks for the Rogers family during this emergency, and the man who now is on the Sebastian Rogers case, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Welcome to all three of you. Seth, I'll come to you first. We spoke, I think, 10 weeks ago or so, and I just wanted to touch base with you. Have you had any updates, any news, anything at all that feels promising?
We've had some, and we've had some tips. Not passed them over to Sumner County, my private investigator that's working on it. But as for news from Sumner County, no, I don't even know if they follow up with any tips.
Hello, everybody.
Can you share those tips publicly, or do you have to keep them under the vest, understandably?
I'm keeping them under the vest because if they are Sebastian, I don't want somebody that doesn't have his best interests following up on our lead. Some people are doing leads and they don't even want to be involved in this case. And I can understand why. I mean, we've got people that are out here in the social media world that, throw daggers at everybody that's helping me find Sebastian. And we've even had him go to jail now.
Dog, jump in here. You know this blueprint, right? You know when a parent is trying everything. They're hiring their own people outside of the police. They're collecting tips, they're passing them on, they're processing. Where do you take this case now that you're on board? How do you do things differently? And since it's been 6 months plus, how do you even begin?
Well, we began at the very beginning, and because I'm not a real law enforcement officer, I can do a lot of things that the law enforcement cannot do. And I don't break the law, but I will bend it till it's fracturing point. So it's very sad because in the very beginning, I thought Sean may be involved in some kind of disappearance, or I thought the little boy was deceased. Days now into it, I have talked to Sean. I know that he was working. This is his only child. I have 12. I've been through this before one of my daughters were killed, but this is amazing. I know that he had nothing to do with this. This guy can barely even talk without crying. You know, I'm looking at him tonight, and we're both, you know, crybabies. I'm looking at him right there on your show, and I'm like, I just want to start crying. Listen, I'm going to hunt these people down. I think the boy is still alive. I'm telling you right now, Ashley, I think this little boy was stashed somewhere because custody was just going to get very soon, very, very soon. Mr. Rogers was going to get custody of his son. And I think there's so much jealousy. You know the old saying, if you can't have him, if I can't have him, nobody will have him. I think that's exactly what we're seeing here, is a domestic squabble over a child.
Thanks for watching. Go to join.nn.
Dog the Bounty Hunter, Ashley Banfield. What a situation. He's pronounced his name wrong. Bad business. And they didn't interject to say Seth. Because at first I thought, who is he talking about? Oh, Lord. Interesting day the Queen has had. Weigh in. What do you think? Take the poll on my community page. Welcome to the Vault Excel. So now we have Mr. Dog Bounty Hunter involved. He believes the child was snatched away due to a domestic squabble between Mr. Seth Rogers and I'm assuming the Proudfoots. Is this true? The child is alive and stashed away. He believes the child is alive. Is Sebastian Rogers alive and stashed away? Weigh in. Take the poll. What an allegation that the child is stashed away and also alive. Alive, stashed away, stashed somewhere, excuse me. Let me repeat that correctly. Is the child stashed somewhere? What you have to ask yourself is the obvious. How long can you stash away, stash somewhere a child? And who might that someone, plural, be that's holding the child? I don't see that working out. When I look at how these people navigated their disposition to Proudfoots, all the crazy nonsense we've heard, he said, she said about them, the family, extended family of Mr. Chris Proudfoot, I don't think any of them would want to hold the child. So then that leaves Katie Proudfoot's family. And from what I've heard about the few people that she's related to, I don't see that either. How's this going to work? You're going to hide someone out. That means you'd have to be around that child 24/7. The child isn't going to school. The child isn't learning. The child isn't navigating outside of the house. Let's keep it real, everybody. And it's not to wish death upon a child or hope for death, but I'm using logic. Now, flip side, there are children who go missing and they are actually alive. Some sadistic person has kidnapped them for either nefarious reasons and or they wanted a child. So then you have to ask yourself, does he fit in either category? That someone kidnapped him because they wanted an autistic boy child, they wanted a teenage boy child, and or he was kidnapped for nefarious sadistic reasons. Usually number two weighs higher, and usually the children don't survive after there have been funny games played with the child. Stay woke. Does Seth believe his child is still alive? Does he believe his child is stashed somewhere by the Proudfoots? Mr. Dog believes, well, this man was at work. He doesn't have anything to do with the disappearance of his son. Weigh in. Let's go ahead and do a poll during this live stream. Thank you for joining me. Lord have mercy. What say you to chat? I don't know what to say at this point. I really don't know. He talked about tips. He doesn't know what they're doing. Sheriff Department, TBI. Don't sound good. Not wanting to put out any information as to get busybodies involved and I guess stalk the case, make the case worse. Pretty sad thing to say. Your child is missing and you don't want to share anything with the public because you're worried about people getting in trouble. I'm assuming he's talking about Betty Bullhorn being arrested. Didn't call her name, but we know that's who he's talking about. I don't really know what happened with that situation, and I'm not here to argue what happened with Betty Bullhorn. The point is, it's all pathetic. It's all pathetic. And this is what's bad about social media. All this he said, she said, innuendos, everybody meddling in stuff that don't concern them. As you see, Queen don't get down like that. I don't rock like that. I have better things to do with my time. I don't have time to run around on, helicopters and planes and, running up to people's houses, banging on doors. I don't have time to be, meddling in stuff. I don't have time to harass public officials, police, the lawyers, district attorney. I value my time. I value these tootsies. I value these big old knees. And they don't want to be running around chasing people. Some people have that kind of time. I don't. I'm not wasting one fucking dollar to be chasing damn demons around. And I'm not going to do it off the dollar of a fan. Now, some of you fans are down with this type of behavior. To each his own. I don't rock like that. There are ways of getting the message out to the masses pertaining to the disappearance of people. There are ways of navigating on behalf of a missing person. I choose not to go down into the abyss. I'm a big girl, and I know crawling in tight spaces is going to be kind of hard to crawl my big ass back out. You see where I'm going. This is a bad situation. Take the poll. Is Sebastian stashed somewhere? Is the child alive? Feel free to take the poll during this live stream and also on my community page. Is the child alive? Hello, Jess. Thank you for joining me. I'm assuming this is, you know how the Queen rocks. Come on now. I'm a big girl. I'm not squeezing in no cracks. Cracks and holes. We don't rock like that. Sharing his name is enough. Do you understand? You want to go out there and search in the area, your choice. But all this other funny business, all this calling the police and all this whole type of crazy nonsense, trying to get people arrested, attempting to get people arrested and all that, I don't have time for that. Because I can tell you wouldn't like that other side of Queen. I'm just going to keep it real. That's the reason why I don't get down and dirty like that with all that hunting on the ground. Hell no. I've gone to places and, brought you content. I've taken you to the crime scenes of a few places and a few cases I've covered. About 3 cases? I've gone to crime scenes, 3 or 4 places. And guess what? I walked out of there with my head intact and my sanity. Because the day you walk up to the Queen talking crazy, it's going to be a very bad day. I can tell you that right now. And the best thing I can do is remove myself before I knock your ass out. See, I'm not your average YouTuber. I know not to go into the abyss. I know not to go rock the fucking boat and stir up trouble because I'm not getting ready to try to come up with bond money for no fucking likes and views. That's a criminal record that I don't need. I can easily get the message out, and now all my videos where I've gone to the crime scene, as I said, I got the message out. Point blank. Is this how it's going to be with true crime, talking about true crime? People calling the police, the law, people chasing you around, following you around, trying to intimidate you. Woo! Couldn't have been Queen. Lord have mercy. Been some smoke in the city. I wish a motherfucker would. We got to get like Cedric. I wish a motherfucker would. I wish somebody would walk up to me talking crazy. I wish you would. It'd be your last time. See, I know how to navigate because I know how people are on YouTube. See, a lot of people don't know how to move quietly, silently. Sometimes you have to move silently to get the message out. You don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing, vice versa. You upload the content later. You have to be very careful. So like I said, I don't know what's actually happened with Miss Betty and that debacle a little ways from the Queen, but it's all shenanigans. Because in the end, there's a child missing, and it's hard to believe we're at the 6-month mark. It's hard to believe. It's hard to fathom. And I would not want to be in his father's shoes, because he seems to be the only one rallying for his child. And as you heard him say, can't talk about it, can't share anything. And that's bad. You got to worry about somebody running and calling the police. Oh, he's over here. Oh, she's over here. Oh, they're going live. What do you care? It's not your fucking kid. He's not your kid. So what do you care about who's filming? This is all you have to do with your time. You need to get your ass a job. I'm keeping it real. You know I don't sugarcoat nothing over here. But I'm not going to waste my time sitting here running around calling sheriff's offices and worrying about who's going live. Somebody going live filming somebody talking or rallying for a missing kid. You really have to check yourself that you need to get yourself a therapist. Some of you people are weird. Goofy ass YouTubers, you're weird. Fans are weird. He's not your kid. What do you care? He's not your kid. So what do you care? Let's keep it real. And nothing good's gonna come to you doing this shit anyway. Did that not dawn on you? You little nosy busybodies, you little busy Karens. Same people that sit on live streams all damn day talking about their concern about the kid. You don't care about that kid. You don't care about Seth. You don't care about the kid. You don't care about the Proudfoots. You don't care about anything but making content, foolish content, ignorant content. And some of you, you're right there with them. You're right there for the foolishness. And then you're the same ones too. Oh, yeah, I care about the kid. Oh, Sebastian. You all don't care about that kid. Because your behavior shows you don't care about the kid. And some of you will not own that you really don't give a fuck. You go on and on. You jump from stream to stream, live stream to chat, putting up green hearts. It's fake. Yeah, I'm calling a spade because I can do that. And you know I don't care about what any of you think of me. That should be obvious. Because I sleep good at night. Checkmate. Sure do. Because I ain't worried about none of you. That's the joy of knowing you're doing the right thing. You ain't concerned. Because I don't have time for that type of foolishness. This is a real human missing. It's not a toy, not a doll. But I think some of you believe that he's a doll. He's in a toy chest somewhere, and eventually somebody's going to go open the toy chest and pull him out of there. Well, I don't think so. It's time to stop the foolishness. There's a child missing. And it's time for everybody to act like they got some damn sense. And some of you just can't do it. It's not in you. You ain't cut. You ain't cut right. You ain't cut right. The whole child missing. And we're going day for day, month for month, same information, just recycling itself, regurgitating itself. And I'd like to know what makes the dog bounty hunter think this child is stashed away. Is he getting this information from Seth? His assertions? What? Where is he, dog? Tell us. Where is the child? Who has Sebastian Rogers? And how long are they going to hold him? Katie Proudfoot, do you have this child stashed away? You and Christopher Proudfoot. Let's ask those two dodo birds. Do you have the child stashed away? Is this about a custody dispute? You didn't want the father to have custody of the child? Hell, you don't seem to want him any damn way. So what the fuck difference does it make? Man, don't get me crumb. It's a good day. It's a good night. I got my own damn troubles. Shut your mouth. You all have shown no emotion, no compassion for Sebastian. I mean zilch, nada, none. All these fake ass interviews with the news and Nancy Grace, and now you're suing a YouTuber, you're calling them fans and YouTubers calling the police on a damn YouTuber. Man, you people need to get a grip. Shows me that some of you all need to get a day job. Hey, Amazon's hiring here in Knoxville. Come on to Knoxville, get your job. We need help. We need help pushing them packages. Because you motherfuckers need to stay off of YouTube. Please, give it a rest. Give it a rest. I'm serious. Every day, it's the same thing. Type. Girl, did you hear what she said? Girl, did you hear what she said? Woo, let me tell you what he said over here. Woo, let me tell you what he said over here. Woo, they went live. Oh my God, they calling the police. Oh, they calling the sheriff. Man, do you hear yourself? Get your ass something to do. It doesn't make sense because I don't think it's true. So what I always tell you about an allegation, an assumption, repeat it back to yourself. It's the best advice I can give any human being. Repeat it back to yourself. The child is stashed away somewhere. Repeat it back to yourself. Repeat it back. Matter of fact, record it and then listen to it. Sebastian Rogers is stashed somewhere. Repeat it and listen to it and ask yourself, does it make any sense? Because you got to ask yourself the common sense, the who, the where, the why. Who did it? What was the motive? And what's the end game? Checkmate. Because you got to make it make sense. The father, he can feel this way because that's his child and he wants to have hope. He wants to have hope that the child's alive. That's his right. I'm not Seth. And it's not that I don't have hope. It's just I use deduction according to how man and woman navigate because I'm a realist. And I also have the gift of discernment because God has favored me. Amen. So how I think, you don't think. As I was telling somebody earlier, your perception is not my perception. That's the reason why we as humans don't agree. Am I correct? Of course I am. What I see, you don't see. What I hear, you don't hear. That's the reason why, as I said again, we don't get along as humans. You know all about the glass and the water, half full, half empty. Come on now. So Seth can have hope because that's his child. He's supposed to have hope. But I am an outsider looking in the glass. And it's murky. It's real murky. So I don't see what Seth sees. I don't have to. As I said, he's the father. I am not. The shit is murky. It would be wonderful to know the child is alive somewhere in good shape. Let me clarify that. But with statistics, stats, what we've seen play out on social media pertaining to the other side, the murky side, the dirty side, it don't look like he would be alive. Just from careful observation. I think he was harmed. That's what I think. I think he was harmed, and you know the rest. I go by how you act, how you talk. I also go by what you don't say and what you don't do. That's all a person can do is judge accordingly. As I said, what you see, I don't see. What I hear, you don't hear. That's the gist. Where's the investigation with TBI and Sheriff's Department? What do you have at the moment? Why haven't you cleared any of the parents? That's a very good question. Where is the investigation and where does it stand? What do you have pertaining to this case? Is it criminal in your gathering of evidentiary material? Do you see one of the parents being a suspect, potential suspect? Do you believe that there are other people involved that are family, outsiders? What's the truth? 28 people have voted. Is the child stashed somewhere? 46% says no. 25% says yes. 29% of you are not sure. So it's a tie almost between yes and not sure of the child being stashed and not sure where Sebastian Rogers is. I think the truth lies with them two dodo birds. Inky and Stinky. That's what I think. And I think Seth knows that too. The truth lies with those two. That stringy-haired bat and her little Teletubby. You know where he is. And you're just going to let this game continue. We're going to go into Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, playing these reindeer games about a 15-year-old. Wow, that's deep. I don't think he was kidnapped by a stranger, a neighbor, a schoolmate. I don't. Because I think that would have led to somebody by now if it was human trafficking, kidnapping by a nefarious person, stranger. I think we all know that. Because one thing we know on Sebastian's end, he would have been able to hide his correspondence with an abductor because he wouldn't have the fortitude to erase anything, especially he's, going to meet somebody. He's not thinking to erase any information. Why would he do that? He wouldn't. Stay woke. She shows no emotion because she checked out. And that's what you see with the other case down in Florida. Don't get me crunk on that. You don't show any emotion because you didn't care. See, people show you what they're made of. It's just up to us to decide if we want to ride the ride or not. I think I need to take my own damn advice. Shut your mouth. What they say, when they show you what they're made of, believe them. Who said that? Maya Angelou. When they show you what they are made of, believe them. Checkmate. So you show me you don't care about your child. You never cared. Because when did you care? Because we got a lot of Lori Valladebels running around perpetrating as caring parents, and everybody was oohing and ahhing over them, and oh, she's a great parent, and oh, she takes them to school, and oh, she baked a cake. Yeah, the same cake that had a knife in it, stab you in your back. People can't understand that. Oh my God, I was fooled. I was hoodwinked. You're hoodwinking food every fucking day. You deal with people. Don't get me started on that subject. I thought he liked me. Ah. Thought she liked me. Now, we're not even going to talk about love. I thought he loved me. Thought she loved me. Well, you were wrong. They did love you. If we really want to go to Belly of the Beast, why don't we ask that question? What is love? I'll let that sit right there. What is love exactly? Love my dog, love my cat, love my job, love my car, love this man, love this woman, love my wife, love my husband, love my children. Sometimes. Not really. Who wants to tell somebody that? I don't really love my kids. Fucking nuisance. I was detached when I got pregnant. I was detached when I provided the sperm. You all see where I'm going. But I can't tell a random person that I'm detached from motherhood, fatherhood. Can't tell them that I'm jacked up, fucked up, my mind's messed up, people mistreated me. I really don't know how to care, don't know how to love. I don't got no empathy because I didn't get it when I should have gotten it as a child. That is the reason why we have trauma right now, because most people came from jacked up humans. So then they go in life and say, well, I don't want to be like her and him, but then you end up emulating them fools because it's all you know. Isn't that right, Katie? Christopher? Both of you are spawns of nonsense, your damn selves. While we're sitting here talking today, I believe that. And you ain't gonna tell the truth what you did with that boy. Oh, but I wish you would. So Seth can get some rest. And the rest of us can get some rest, and everybody can quit talking about this kid making up shit. Give the YouTube algorithm a break. Yeah, it might straighten it out. Indeed, a little truth. That's delicately put. A little truth just might Straighten this mess out. I like that. That's kind of smooth. What do you say about that, Katie? Christopher, a little truth might straighten this mess out. Checkmate. How about a whole lot of truth? Hey, let's shoot for the stars. A whole lot of colossal size truth. Straighten this mess right on out. But they can't do that. Because what do we say in the street? That's too much like doing right. Hell no. Telling you nothing. How do you sleep at night? I don't know how you sleep at night. Take you back to The Color Purple. Saying the Lord's trying to tell you something. That's what Katie needs to hear. Somebody put an audio tape at her door. Saying the Lord's trying to tell you something. Can't sleep at night. Wondering why. Because there's truth to that song. You toss and turn because you've done wrong. Walking around paranoid because you've done wrong. Running to the courthouse filing paperwork for restraining orders because you have done wrong. Checkmate. And believe me, what goes around comes around. You're going to get all that shit back. Oh, I believe in what the universe gives back. You're going to get all that back, you and that fat puppy. You're going to get all that back 7 times 4. And that's in the scripture. You're going to get all that back. And anybody else that's been meddling and doing trifling shit, you're going to fall by the wayside alongside the proud foots. Because it's evil. And God ain't going to continue to let you walk around here doing evil in the name of Sebastian Rogers. That's in stone. That's not Queen's assertion. That's a spoken word. Hello, everybody. You're going to get that back. And I can tell you now, you ain't going to like that other side. So you weren't about Betty Bullhorn and this person and that YouTuber, baby. You need to get your mind right. She is going to be the least of your damn problems. Because the truth is what it is, the truth. As someone says, the truth needs no support. The truth needs no explanation. Because what is truth is understood. What is understood needs no explanation. Woo! Don't get street on them, Queen. I got to. Because some people don't understand. Layman's term, you can't talk nice to some people. Got to get a little ghetto ratchet with them. Damn fool, you don't see the light. You're going to have to pay the piper in the long run. Because how do you think this is going to fare? Holding these lies about this boy. It ain't going to work because it ain't working now. Ding, ding, ding. Shut your mouth. Oh, it'll make anybody head hurt. Anybody sing. How come Seth hasn't been cleared if he was at work? I don't know. Ain't none of them cleared. So there you have it. Hell, maybe the deputies, they're confused. I don't know what the hell's going on. But somebody needs to say something because this is winded. This ain't no good. Whole kid missing. And they don't got nothing. I don't think that they just don't got nothing. What is evident is obvious. I can't tell you what I got because I ain't got no proof. So I can't stand before the podium and say, hey, Pookie did this, Ray Ray did this, Karen did this, Ken did this. I gotta have proof. He, she, they did this, so I cannot speak about what I think they did. So I have to be quiet until I have proof. Is that what is going on? Sumner County Sheriff's Department, TBI. You got an inkling of where this investigation is headed, but you ain't got no proof. One, you ain't got no body, warm or cold. You ain't got no CCTV footage of anything nefarious. You ain't got no CCTV footage of a blueprint of a child moving about. And that sure enough is a problem. But I know that when things settle down, which is kind of like where we are right now, eventually somebody will slip up because people get comfortable. They become complacent. And that's what you're going to have with these two dodo birds. They're going to slip up because they always do. And one thing we've learned about people who unalive folks, they do get comfortable and they do pillow talk. Because you always forget something. That's the spoken word. You will forget something. You did forget something. So you can call the sheriff in Clarksville and Hendersonville and Nashville and Florida and worry yourself to death on phone lines about Betty Bullhorn and this YouTuber and who's stalking you and who you don't want making videos about you. You can break your fucking neck. It don't erase the truth of what you've done and who you are. So you can type and call until your fingers are bloody. Because in the end, you do have blood on your hands. I do believe that. And that, my friend, you cannot erase nor deny. My prayers are for Mr. Sebastian Rogers. That at some point in life, he will come to peace with this case, however it turns out. Because I cannot tell that man how to think and what he should feel, because that's not my child. And I don't have the right. Because that would be cruel to say, well, you should believe this, because I think a certain way. So all I can say is I will pray for him, that he gets a resolution to the disappearance of his son. Once again, is Sebastian stashed somewhere? The odds have changed now. 21% yes, 44% no, and 36% not sure. Now we have more people not sure. Next commentary is coming out of Georgia. Woo! Dirty business down there. We got some ratchet business down in Georgia. Lord have mercy. Accused Georgia school shooter Colt Gray faces judge. Also his father. Let's get down to business, everybody. Conversation number 2. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this live stream and hear content pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. Dog, the bounty hunter, is now involved in the case. He believes the child is alive and stashed somewhere. Where does he believe the child is stashed? Who has the child? What's the motive for stashing him? And will the person free him? What's the truth? Take the poll. Still people voting. All right. Let's go to Georgia. We got some funky business going on. 14-year-old kids unalived. 2 teachers and students, 2 students, others wounded. Thank God there were no more casualties. The father is now also charged for involuntary manslaughter for these deceased people.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you Mr. Colt Gray? My name is Curry Mingledorf. I'm assigned to preside over this morning's proceedings. Mr. Gray,
I'm good, Wanda. How are you?
As to whether you're able to read and write the English language. All right. I also want to inform you Well, I want to ask you, do you understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney in these proceedings? And you are in fact represented today, is that correct? And Mr. Zane Harmon, you're here on behalf of this defendant, is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and you understand you have the right to be continuously represented throughout this proceeding. If you cannot afford to hire counsel, and this court is obligated under the Constitution to provide counsel for you without cost to you. All right, I am going to inform you of a few other matters, and I'm not going to ask you anything, I'll just inform you. So one is, I want to make sure that you are aware that you have the right to remain silent.
Talking to the boy, child.
Anything at all. And it's important to understand that because anything you might say could be used against you at further proceedings associated with your case. I want to inform you of the charges that you currently face. In essence, you are charged with 4 counts of felony murder, as outlined in the state warrants that have been issued against you. I want to make you aware that the maximum penalty for felony murder, so for each count, the maximum penalty is that you could be punishable by death, by imprisonment for life, without parole, or by imprisonment for life, with the possibility of parole. If you have any questions about these charges, then I would urge you to discuss those with your attorney. I would invite you, Mr. Harmon, to inform the court as to whether there's a request for bond at this time.
At this time, Your Honor, there is not a request for bond. We will file the appropriate motions if that becomes necessary.
All right. An indictment by the grand jury for most felony offenses or accusations, well, you have the right to receive an indictment for these offenses. And I assume Mr. Brad Smith is here on behalf of the DA's office, or he is our district attorney, and he's accompanied by Ms. Patricia Brooks, who is his chief assistant. A preliminary hearing, you'll have the right also to a preliminary hearing, unless you make a bond, which of course at this point there's no bond being requested, or unless you waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. As you sit here in this courtroom today, under the law, you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point in any proceeding will not be used against you in determining whether you are guilty or not guilty. Counsel, let me just inquire as to whether there are any other items that the court should address before we conclude this preliminary hearing.
No. There you are.
Well, I do have one piece of information to convey to the court. There was a development yesterday afternoon that makes it necessary for our office to have alternate counsel appointed, and arrangements have already been made in that regard. I've already explained that to Mr. Gray. Alternate counsel will be appointed by the end of the day today.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Donna Seagraves. All right, then with that, this hearing is concluded, and you may escort this defendant out.
All right, the boy's leaving out. Now it's time for his father. Lord have mercy, what a mess.
All right, with that, I understand that we have another parents hearing. And at this hearing, I'm first gonna ask you just a few questions, and then I'm gonna advise you of your rights and also let you know about a preliminary hearing that's been scheduled for you. Why don't you just state your name, please? All right, pull the microphone down, please. There you go. All right, and how old are you, Mr. Gray?
54.
And are you able to read and write, understanding this English language without any difficulty?
Yes.
How far did you go in school?
11th grade GED.
Okay. And I note that you have counsel seated with you at the table. You understand that you have the right to be represented by an attorney at all times for this and all future proceedings in your case?
Yes, sir.
And you understand that, of course, if you cannot afford an attorney, that the public defender will be appointed to the system is working. And all right, so the following aren't questions that I'm going to ask. I'm just informing you of some things. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you at further hearings or trial on the charges that you're facing. For this hearing, you're not going to be questioned about facts and circumstances surrounding your charges. You are currently charged with, and you'll be provided copies of the warrants if you don't already have them. You're currently charged with 2 counts of felony murder in the 2nd degree. You're charged with 4 counts of felony involuntary manslaughter. You're charged with 8 counts of felony cruelty to children in the 2nd degree. For these offenses, for the felony murder counts in the 2nd degree, felony murder in the 2nd degree, the maximum penalty for each count is up to 30 years imprisonment. For felony involuntary manslaughter, of course, again, there are 4 counts. The maximum penalty for each of those offenses is 10 years imprisonment. For the 8 felony cruelty to children counts, the maximum penalty under the law for each of those 8 counts is 10 years imprisonment, for a maximum total possible penalty for the charges that you currently are facing of 180 years imprisonment.
Woo! Wait. Gotta stop right there. Did you hear what he just said? 180 years confinement in prison. I want you to think about that for just a second. The boy child is facing the death penalty, could face the death penalty. Will that be on the table for a 14-year-old boy child? What should the boy child's sentence be? Will he take a plea if indeed the death penalty is put on the table? The father's facing charges for the 4 murders, involuntary manslaughter of the 4 individuals that are deceased, and also, I believe, 8 counts for those injured. Sweet Jesus. As I've told many people, Georgia's not the state you want to dick around in. Certain states, best you just keep it moving. Georgia's one of those states. Florida's one of those states. Sometimes Texas, Kentucky. It's the dirty South, indeed. Play childish games, you win childish prizes. Foolish prizes. You're going to hear later, FBI investigated this boy child the year before. A lot of people are talking on social media. What's the big deal? Blah, blah, blah. Such is the case we have here. Somebody calling in threats, Halls High School, people jumping on the news break, making stupid commentary. Why you want to arrest a kid? Why you want to, well, did you not see what happened in Georgia? Really? You're going to ask that question? Because you see, they've already been down this road a year ago with him. Poof, voila, he acted it out. That's the point. So now you want to question what the fuck's going on in Tennessee, why somebody should suspend a kid, hold a kid accountable, so you don't have a Georgia incident. That's why. And the fact that somebody has to explain it to you and you're an adult means you need help, and you're also somebody that don't need to be rearing children. Let's continue this nonsense.
If you have questions about these charges, which I assume that you will, the court urges you to discuss those with your attorney. Let me inquire as to whether there's a motion for bond if Mr. Gray is moving for bond at this time.
No, sir, not at this time. We will allow alternate counsel to make that decision.
All right, thank you. And I also need to inform you that you have the right to an indictment by a grand jury, and you also have the right to a preliminary hearing unless you make bond or waive such a hearing. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by a judge or jury. You have the right to confront and cross-examine all witnesses. You have the right to call witnesses on your own behalf and testify in your own defense if you so choose. I want to make it clear to you, Mr. Gray, that you are presumed innocent. Your refusal to testify at any point cannot be used against you in determining whether you're guilty or not guilty. I mentioned the first appearance hearing a moment ago. That is being set for you for December 4th, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Currently that's set to take place in the Magistrate Court, Barrow County. It could be subject to change, but I just want you to know that that is the date that we currently have. In fact, counsel, could you approach, please? I have this, let's see, I need to scratch this out.
What a mess. What a mess. Woo, father finished 11th grade with a GED.
Discusses bond and gives the date of preliminary hearing. And just, I can sign that and you can just and then the warrants are attached to that.
Take the poll, ladies. Yeah, it's sad.
For him to sign it.
Father didn't obviously pay attention to the signs of his child. Now he's got to pay the piper. What will a jury say for the father? Yay or nay? Is it right to hold him accountable for these murders? Take the poll. Comment below this video and the post. Also on my community page.
Do you want me to go ahead and give them this copy?
Yes, please.
And the page continues. And are these his copies of the warrants?
Those are provided and they say service copies on them, so I assume that they're for him. Sergeant Briscoe, do you concur with that? Is that what those copies are for?
Hey, Wanda. People that like to hunt, we're going to talk about that here in a minute.
Copies or he'll have it provided by. All right, so the detention center wants to hold on to those. All right, let me, and thank you, Ms. Graves. I want to certainly acknowledge the presence of our district attorney, Mr. Brad Smith. He's assisted by his chief assistant, Patricia Brooks. Is there anything else, counsel, that the court needs to address that I have neglected to address?
There.
Yes, sir, not at this time.
All right, I do want to thank those who are in the gallery who have an interest and who have appeared. I appreciate the decorum that's been maintained throughout this proceeding, or both of these proceedings today. And with that, this matter is adjourned.
All right, everybody. State of Georgia. Take the poll, everybody. Should the father have been charged with these murders? Yes, 71%. No, 17%. Not sure, 12%. 24 votes so far. Take the poll. I got 37 viewing. 13 more people need to vote so I can close the poll. Take the poll. Make your voice count. Make your vote count. Please go to my community page for said updates to breaking news. I've shared some content that I've uploaded many years ago pertaining to dating, true story content of a woman who went overseas chasing behind a man in Africa. Some of my best content to date. I've reshared it on the community page. Please watch those videos. They are short, very short. Trips to New Orleans. I take you on the ground on my trip 3 years ago when I went on vacation to New Orleans. That's also been uploaded. Feel free to go back to yesteryear with the Queen. I have a lot of videos in the YouTube queue. Please check out my shorts as well and follow the Queen on the Newsbreak app where I give commentary over there. Follow me as I navigate from article to article, giving my public opinion pertaining to breaking news. Like, share, and follow, and subscribe here on YouTube. Thank you. You all are going up and down on that poll. 67% says yes, 15% no, 19% not sure. Can't understand being neglectful gun owner. Parent can't be both. Pick one. Gotta pick one. I sure hope the dad didn't buy his 14-year-old an automatic weapon. No is one of my favorite cities. NOLA, yes, New Orleans. Ain't nothing like the NOLA, baby. If I could, I would love to have a condo in the building where I stayed. And believe me, if I ever get some money, I'm putting a down payment on an apartment in that damn building where I stayed. I loved it. Check out the content. Follow the Queen, her last day there. I'm on the rooftop, and I was lit when I was on top of that rooftop because I was in my feelings. Some shit had went down, and the Queen was up there venting to herself because I had to go to the top of that building because I was ready to act a damn fool up in that building. I was on one, so I went to the rooftop to cool off. So check out that video. It is uploaded to my community page. Follow the Queen on her journey in New Orleans. That was a half-assed trip. Next time I go, I'm going correct. There'll be no side pieces and side kicks. That way I can enjoy my trip the way I anticipated. Because really that was a wasted trip down to the bottom of the earth to be going with a bunch of clowns. But you know, that's life. But New Orleans is a beautiful place, and I do plan to return. I do plan to return. Great people down there. A lot of nice people. 67% yes, 15% no, 19% not sure. 33 people watching. What kind of parent would buy their kid a gun? Yeah. Well, what kind of parent would watch somebody molest their child? How about that? Yeah. If we're just going to start asking questions about what kind of parent. What kind of parent abuses the child, curses the child, gaslights their child? What type of person puts another human over their child? Woo, we can ask all kind of questions when it comes to why. What do I always tell you pertaining to true crime? Don't ask why, ask why not. I did it because I could. I did it because I wanted to. Why are you asking me about why I mistreated my child, endangered my child? Imagine what this man is feeling right now, sitting in court, swaying, shaking, feeling, how the hell did I get here? Too late now. I keep trying to tell people about that good old boy system because a lot of you people are kind of slow in that department. You think you can just keep doing what you want to do because you live in certain states. Let me tell you something. Let me enlighten you. That same system that you're hurraying for will be the same system that turns on you. Checkmate. And now this father knows. Can't say he knows best, but he now knows. Same system you rallied for is the same system that'll turn on you. That's what a lot of people don't understand about these good old boy states. They will turn on you. Gonna close the poll. 66% yes, 17% no, 17% not sure. Thank you for taking the post. Well, he's going to have to face the consequences now, sweetheart. He has no other choice now. I'm now going to go recap information pertaining to this father and son. Thank you for joining me. Lord have mercy, what a mess. Prayers for the victims' families. Amen. Also, 2 students were arrested here in Knox County for making threats of mass violence. Just in case you didn't know. Let's go to people.com. First source. Colin Gray, 54, and his 14-year-old son, Colt Gray, both face charges in connection with the deadly shooting at Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia. Colin Gray, the father of suspected Georgia school shooter Colt Gray, previously expressed pride in his teenage son's hunting while speaking with authorities who were investigating alleged threats the boy made to commit a school shooting in 2023. Now the son, 14, has been charged with 4 counts of felony murder in connection with the September 4th shooting at Appalachia High School in Winder, Georgia, that claimed the lives of 4 people. Colin, 54, was also arrested and charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, wow, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. In May of 2023, the son was interviewed by law enforcement about alleged threats he made to commit a school shooting, the FBI's Atlanta division previously said. The father stated he had hunting guns in the house, but the subject did not have unsupervised access to them. The subject denied making the threats online, the FBI said. While speaking to investigators, Colin allegedly said he had been teaching his son about guns and hunting in an effort to have him spend time outdoors and play fewer video games. The New York Times reported, citing a newly released audio transcript. Per the transcript, also obtained by PBS, Colin described a photo of Colin after shooting his first deer and said it was the greatest day ever, quote unquote. According to records cited by New York Times, Colin owned multiple weapons, including AR-15 style rifle. Okay, hold on a minute, go back to that. Colin owned multiple weapons. Okay. Okay. When asked by an investigator if the guns are accessible, Colin allegedly said they are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting, per the audio obtained by Fox News. Colin also allegedly said, I'm going to be mad as hell if he did, in response to his son's alleged threat, and promised to take away all access to the guns, the outlet reported. According to the FBI, there was no probable cause for an arrest or any further law enforcement action, but local schools were notified for continued monitoring of the subject. September 4th attack killed 2 students, Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angula, both 14, and 2 teachers, Richard Aspinwall, 39, and Christina Aramis, 53. According to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, 9 others were hospitalized with injuries and are expected to make a full recovery, authorities previously said. Colin and the shooting suspect, who will be tried as an adult, appeared in court for the first time Friday, September 6th. A judge ruled the shooting suspect will not face the death penalty since he is under 18. Okay, so that must have changed. CNN reported, adding that his preliminary hearing is set for December 4th. As for Colin, the judge said he could face up to 180 years in prison if convicted on all counts. Now, Colin is the father, facing a possible 180 years in prison. Once again, the boy child will not face the death penalty since he is under 18 years of age. I'm also going to put that up as a poll. Should he have been afforded the opportunity to face the death penalty? What should happen to this boy child as a punishment? Stay in detention until 1821, then forwarded over to a state prison, federal prison? What do you say? What do you say? Colin Gray is the father, 54. 14-year-old son, Colt Gray. I don't know of a mother, where a mother is located. Where is the biological mother of this said boy child? Are there other children in the house? How many guns were in the house? Wow, wow, wow. Let's get the latest updates. Now, note that this is content that was uploaded hours ago. Anything is possible that can change pertaining to breaking news. Just going to give you a play-by-play. Once again, a 14-year-old student who was injured in Appalachian High School mass shooting told CNN that he could have been killed if he had been in the hallway going to the restroom. Ronaldo Vega was in his second period math class when the shooting began, he said, and immediately took cover under his desk. Vega believes the shooter fired around 4 to 6 times before going to another classroom, because they did lock the door when he left out, and then he came back in. Obviously, he had brought artillery with him when he came back, and they locked the door, so he went on to another classroom, as reported by students. Afterward, Vega said he stood up quickly and went to close the classroom door so the shooter couldn't come back. I closed the door. I threw chairs on the door so he couldn't push it in, Vega said. Vega went behind the teacher's desk and saw one of the bullets. That's when he realized he was bleeding. I think it hit something, and it hit me, and I saw like a hole and then a little bit of blood on the side, Vega said. I thought it was somebody else's because I originally saw blood on the ground where I laid down. Vega recalled that he had planned to go to the restroom after his classmate Mason Schermerhorn, who was fatally shot. I was like, that could have been me, Vega said. Oh, wow. Miss Christine Eremy, Caucasian female, is one of the school teachers that sadly did not survive. Christina Eremy, one of the 4 people killed in the Appalachian High School shooting, was a passionate teacher who treated her students like her own children, according to Gabrielle Booth, a relative of the late teacher. Eremy, I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right, Eremy struggled with infertility, but would say, it's okay because the students are my kids, Booth told CNN's Anderson Cooper. The night before the shooting took place, she stayed up to bake a cake for her kids in order to celebrate her birthday with her students, Booth said. Eremy's birth was on August 24th, another friend told CNN, but she was unable to celebrate then because she was caring for her mother, who just had surgery, according to Booth. The plan for Wednesday was to celebrate with cake and pizza. The celebration was interrupted by a haul of bullets. One student told CNN that Eremy sacrificed herself to protect students. That's just who she was. She would spring into action. She died for her children like any good mom would do, like a good teacher would do. She couldn't have her own, so these were her kids, Booth said through tears. Eremy's path to teaching began in 2012 when, after immigrating to the United States, her husband encouraged her to go back to school to do something she loved, Booth said. Because of her passion for teaching, Eremy's goal was for her students to love math. It was the hope of the future for her that she loved, Booth said. I think just teaching children something she loved. Outside of school, Booth said Eremy taught Romanian folklore dancing at a Romanian Orthodox church because she wanted to keep the tradition alive. A 14-year-old Appalachian High School student said that if she had opened the class door on Wednesday, the suspect in the mass shooting would have got every single one of us in that class, quote unquote. Reed Jones was in the second period Wednesday when Colt Gray, accused of killing 4 people in high school on Wednesday, left the classroom, Jones said. We didn't notice he left, Jones said, adding that Gray was always quiet, but Gray came back and knocked on the door. I always looked out the door before I opened it. She says, I always look out. It is a habit my mom taught me, Jones said. As I was looking at the door, he was pulling his gun out, and then I froze up like I froze up, and I said no to myself. I was like, no, she told CNN's Isabel Rosales. The teacher asked for the door to be open, Jones said, because she didn't know he had a gun because she was at her desk. She was going to walk over there, open it, and I was like, no, he has a gun, Jones said. The shooter, he looked up, she explained. He was looking at me, my teacher, and then somebody in the hall. He turned his head and he just started shooting. The students then ran to the back of the class and the teacher turned off the lights, Jones said. Once he started shooting, it's like he kept going. It was so many gunshots after gunshots, she said. It felt like he was just shooting forever, and then it stopped. Wow. The students in Richard Aspinwall's class at Appalachian High School say they used the shirts off their backs to try to stop the teacher's bleeding when he was shot on Wednesday, according to a family friend. Amen. That's what you're supposed to do. Care about your teacher. Julie Woodson said she's known the Aspinwall since 2012 and used to work with Aspinwall at Mountain View High School. The math teacher who was killed in the shooting leaves behind his wife, Shayna, who was a teacher at Flowery Branch High School, and two daughters who are 2 years old and 5 years old. Woodson shared a statement with CNN on behalf of the family. The entire Aspinwall family is just overwhelmed with the generosity and support they have received. They are beyond thankful. Shayna and the girls want to thank the community and also let the world know just how amazing their husband and dad was. Ricky was their nucleus, and he died as a hero trying to save his students' lives. The family asked to respect their privacy at this time, the statement said. Woodson told CNN that the students told her that Aspinwall heard a commotion outside his classroom and went to see what was going on. When he did, he was shot in the chest by the 14-year-old suspect. His students pulled Ricky back into the classroom and used their own shirts to try to stop the bleeding and save him. She explained, if he didn't walk out and take the bullet, who knows what would have happened. In what has become at least the 46th school shooting in the U.S. this year, the 16-year-old student at a high school near Baltimore is in custody after allegedly fatally shooting a 15-year-old boy on campus Friday, authorities said. It comes after 4 people were killed in a shooting at a high school in Georgia on Wednesday. The shooting occurred at Joppatown High School in Joppatown, Maryland, around 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in a first-floor men's restroom. Harford County Sheriff Jeffrey Goller said at a news conference Friday afternoon. Authorities emphasized that the incident was not an active shooter situation. Joppatown is about 20 miles northeast of Baltimore. Parts of the South and Mid-Atlantic have had higher rates of school shootings. The gray indicates in this map 5 states that have not had school shootings since 2008, according to the CNN's analysis. The school shootings per 100,000 population since 2008. So most of the map shows 4%, 0.4, and it's southern states, starting with Tennessee. I believe that would be next door, North Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi. They're all southern states that have the most, which is not good. In the darker area, 0.4. Oh, wow. What is to become of this world? Once again, should the father be held accountable? Once again, both parties appeared in court. Father facing up to 180 years. The boy child will not be facing the death penalty because he was under the age of 18 when he committed these murders. We also learned in 2023 there was an investigation into him making threats, and sadly, he acted out this crime in Georgia. Lord have mercy. That's the latest. Try to see what else I can find. I had something else uploaded. The judge says this child is facing life in prison And that's the possible maximum penalty for the said crime. Wow, wow, wow. This is bad. Life in prison. So that means he'll leave a facility, detention facility, and then go on to a men's prison. Let's see what they said about his problems in school. The father must be really devastated that he's now going to have to stand account along with his son. Will he get a bond? And will he be able to bond out? Wondering about that. Don't know. It's a hot mess. It's not showing me the article. For some reason. Hold on, everybody. I'm trying to see why it's not coming up. So what was the problem in 2023 with the boy? What did he actually say? Was there a reprimand by the school, suspension? Most schools expel you out, I would assume. Don't take any chances of bringing you back to school. Was he ever in alternative school? What was his GPA? So you have to ask all those questions. Where is the mother of this boy child? And also prayers to the family of Rich Homie Quan. He has passed away in Georgia, the rapper. We also had students arrested here for threatening schools, halls, sits outside of Knoxville, Tennessee. FBI raids homes of two of Mayor Adams' top aides in New York City. Don't know what that's all about. They ain't looking good. They ain't looking good at all. Somebody says, in my opinion, this is why there's a teacher shortage, because of these types of incidents. Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't want to teach anyway because they don't pay anything. They don't pay anything. Law enforcement, social worker, teachers are the lowest paid people. People don't want to, one, you're risking your health every day dealing with students, their problems. God forbid you're a problem person going to work. Police work, same thing. Problematic people that are officers dealing with the public. It's not worth the pay. Social work, same thing. Now, this crime took place in Winder, Georgia. This is the 45th school shooting so far this year, and the deadliest U.S. school shooting since March of 2023, pertaining to the massacre at the Covenant School in Nashville that left 6 people dead. This is a Caucasian boy, 14 years of age. He's killed 2 students, 2 teachers with an AR platform weapon, 9 more hospitalized, but they are expected to recover. 9:45 a.m. in the morning. Doors locked automatically. Near the end of class, the suspect knocked on the door, tried to come back in. One of the students is saying here. One student went to open the door, but apparently saw the gun and refused to let him in. That diversion may have saved her life. I think he wanted to come to us first, Layla said. I'm sure he did. Gunman turned to a nearby classroom and opened fire, and you hear about 10 to 15 rounds back to back, Layla said. The first report of an active shooter came in at 10:20 a.m. 2 school resource officers and other law enforcement quickly arrived. Georgia Bureau of Investigations Director Chris Holsey said one of the school's resource officers confronted the shooter, who surrendered and was taken into custody. Barrow County Sheriff Judd Smith said the suspect, Colt Gray, is being held Thursday at the Gainesville Regional Youth Detention Centers. The Georgia Department of Juvenile Justice told CNN. He will make his first court appearance Friday. Department spokesperson Glenn Allen said that's already transpired. He and his father have gone before the judge. So we have 2 teachers deceased and 2 students, 2 14-year-old students, Christian Angulo and Mason Schermerhorn. Kristen Irami, 53 years of age, was a math teacher, and 39-year-old math teacher, assistant football coach Richard Aspinwall. They also died. Okay, as our community school football program begins the morning process, we are so grateful for the outpouring of support Appalachian football posted on X Thursday. To our beloved defensive coordinator, Ricky Aspinwall, we will carry you heavy in our hearts. We love you, Coach A. In addition to those killed, 9 people injured and hospitalized. Those patients expected to recover. We don't expect any more fatalities at this time, Smith said Wednesday night. It is not immediately clear whether the gunman knew or specifically targeted his victims, the sheriff said. So let's ask that question. Did he specifically try to target his classmates, but they locked him out? So he went on to the next classroom. And once again, what made him decide to exact this crime after putting out a threat last year? Why did he go forward this time? Schools, faculty, and staff, heroes in his actions, they took, are heroes, they said, in the actions that they took. Hosey said, the protocols in this school and the system activated today prevented this from being a much larger tragedy than what we had. One of those protocols include a safety measure adopted just 1 week ago. All of our teachers are armed with the form of an ID called Centrigix, Smith said Wednesday night. Centrigix alerts law enforcement after buttons are pressed on an ID, and it alerts us that there's an active situation at the school for whatever reason, and that was pressed. Centrigix's website says the tool has dynamic digital mapping, real-time locating capabilities, an easy-to-use wearable panic button for school and district staff, a school visitor management system, and safe reunification capabilities enable educators to plan for and respond faster to emergencies. Very good, but I still have a problem with that, and I'm going to talk about that briefly before I check out. Several states, including Georgia, have introduced legislation for panic alarm systems, CNN reported. So he had an AR platform weapon, okay? Expected to be tried as an adult. Law enforcement officially previously told CNN it was an AR-15 style rifle, but it has now been labeled an AR platform weapon, whatever the hell that means. Authorities have not given information about how the weapon or ammunition were obtained, but investigators have spoken to the suspect and have been in touch with his family, Smith said. It's also not clear when and how the suspect brought the rifle to school. Okay? Very interesting. We're still trying to clarify a lot of the timeline from the time that he got here to school Wednesday until the incident. Once again, he was questioned before in his past. It said last year regarding anonymous tips about online threats to commit a school shooting, and the online threats included photos of guns, according to a joint statement from FBI Atlanta and Jackson County Sheriff's Office, but Gray denied making the threats online. So the child denied it. You have the father saying he hoped he didn't make the threats, and now we fast forward to 2024. He walked into the school with a weapon and killed 4 people and injuring 9 others. The father stated he had hunting guns in the house, but the subject did not have unsupervised access to them. Agency said at the time there was no probable cause for arrest or to take any additional law enforcement action on local, state, and federal levels. Well, should they have put the kid out of school as not to have had what happened today? All right. So he posted some stuff online in May of 2023 on an online gaming site. Posted it to Facebook. In under 24 hours, FBI determined the post originated in Georgia. FBI field officer referred the information to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigations for action. Sheriff's office located, interviewed the 13-year-old boy and his father shortly afterward. Magnum wrote, 13-year-old denied making the threats online. A thorough investigation was conducted. During the course of this investigation, the gaming site threats could not be substantiated. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office alerted local schools for continued monitoring of the subject. Well, before the mass shooting, Appalachia High School had received a phone threat. Earlier that morning, multiple law enforcement officials told CNN. So who called in the threat the morning of? Was it this young man? Somebody else? The phone call warned there would be shootings at 5 schools and that Appalachia would be the first, but it's unclear who placed that call. Very interesting. Investigators have not found any evidence of other schools being targeted, but are pursuing any leads of any potential associates of the shooter that was involved in this incident. So let's ask this question. Was Colt the one that made the call threatening to shoot up that school and 4 other schools? Did he get in cahoots with some other kids to make threats to other schools? Did other kids make threats to neighboring schools? What's the truth? The schools will be closed in Barrow County for the rest of the week. 15,000 students are in this district, and they want them to process the tragedy that unfolded just 1 month into the school year. Some Appalachia High School students say they worry about going back to class. I want to go to school worrying about what my GPA is going to be when my year is over and worrying about my career, 14-year-old Macy Wright said. I really don't want to go back. I feel like I shouldn't have to go back to school worrying about dying. Wow. So we have 1 Hispanic kid dead, 1 black kid dead, and 2 white teachers deceased. Math teachers and football coach. They are no longer alive. Father and son are now incarcerated. Will the father get a bond? I'm going to say this and I'm going to check out of here. Thank you all so much for following this network and commenting and taking the polls. I'll put up one more poll before I check out. What is wrong with school security? Because it's easy to pass blame. And that's what's going on here. We're blaming the student, we're blaming the parent. But where is the school's responsibility? Because you can't have one without the other. This is what people need to understand about true crime. You're expecting to walk around here in La La Land and nothing bad's gonna happen. Well, you know something bad's gonna happen because it's human nature. People are ill, they're tainted, they're bitter, they're mad, they're sick, they're schizophrenic, they have mental disease, they're drunks, they're addicts, so on and so forth. So something bad will cross your path at some point in life. And the school has a responsibility, the school district has a responsibility to keep the staff and students safe. So if you don't have any type of armored staff, you don't have the detectors for people to go into school to alert that there are weapons on their person, you're going to continue to have shootings. That's just common sense. So we can blame the father, blame the mother, grandmama, what they didn't do, blame the school. Really, it's an all-out effort. Everybody is to blame. The school is blamed because they don't have security to beep you when you walk in at every entry point. A staff member could have came in and shot up the school. The woman in the cafeteria could have shot up the school. Stay woke. The janitor could have shot up the school. The principal could have brought a gun in. Come on, wake up. The father should have been in tune with his child's attitude, disposition. He should have made sure that when he heard about the threat last year, he hid all guns and made sure they stayed locked in a locked room. He had the key put up, put a code on the door where the child couldn't get access to the weapons. This is a stair-step responsibility. Bottom damn line. Everybody is responsible because you can't expect children to come to school and just, I get it. You can't, monitor everybody when they go to school, when they come to school as a teacher, staff member, but you do need to be aware of your students and their issues and their problems. You need to notice when something's not right, when they're acting out, they're talking back, they're disruptive. It needs to be a zero tolerance of children acting out in school. If they're bullying, threatening in school, you gotta go. This shit's gotta stop. Parents, you need to be aware of your children, their attitudes, their dispositions. You see, everything starts from the womb on out. How you rear your children, because they're not going to be in your eyesight naturally. But for those of you who think these children shouldn't be getting arrested or put out of school, you're a fool. Because now you see he got a pass last year and now he's killed people this year. So you can't say, oh, a child shouldn't get arrested. A child shouldn't be suspended. Oh, what are you going to do every time somebody makes a threat? Make their ass pay. That's what you're going to do. You can't give them a pass. See, he should have never been allowed to come back to school. But they said, oh, it wasn't substantiated the threats made on the gaming system. Well, the FBI found his address and found him. So there had to have been some type of a trail. How did they just wake up and go to his house and say, hey, we want to talk to you about you making a threat online? Because he left a trail. So this is bullshit. Then the school should have been notified of his behavior, and they should have said he can't come back. You got to stop it at the gate. Stop letting people slide. That's where this is a problem. Father had guns. Child had access to the guns. He's taking the child to shoot. Hunting was their thing. I can't tell the man not to tell his child he can't take his child hunting. But if you see your child is trouble, having problems, they're withdrawn, they're acting out, you shouldn't be taking that child hunting. You shouldn't allow that child to even have access to hunting material. Don't even need to be playing violent video games. There are people who are just susceptible to chaos. He is that child. Then you got to ask what type of parent this man is. Was he violent? Was he radical, acting radical, radical thinking? See, you can't have one without the other. Everything starts at home. Stair step. Now, it's the school responsibility to keep everybody safe. So you should have security at every entry point. Somebody guarding every door when people are coming in and out. Can't just leave a door open for somebody to walk in with a damn gun, a knife, a baton, taser, whatever they want to bring in. And we have schools that have a lot of doors. You know, gymnasiums got their own doorways in and out. You got outbuildings with different doorways in and out. But this is how things slip through the crack. All this coming and going, and there's no monitoring the doors. Kid could come in, hide a gun somewhere, come back the next day, it's already in the school. They could have brought it in at another entry point through another door in the school. You got to be vigilant. So we can't just say, oh, blame the parent, start with the parent. You have to also keep the school safe. Windows, doors, doorways, all entry points need to have sufficient security. That means you may need to hire different staff to sit at every door and wave a baton. Yes, it's going to be strenuous between periods, bells ringing every 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, but this is the price you got to pay. I mean, I don't know else how to word it. You can't keep having these fatalities. You can't keep letting the kids slip through the cracks of being able to enter into school and bring a damn weapon in. It's just the bottom line. One more poll, then we're going to get out of here. Thank you for the thumbs up. 2-part live. Sebastian Rogers, dog bounty hunter on the case, thinks the child is being stashed somewhere. Is Sebastian Rogers alive? When is this saga going to end? Take the polls. What should be the punishment for this boy? Should he get life in prison? I'm going to give you some options. Let's see, possible parole. Yes, no, not sure, possible parole. Take the poll. Hello, Lip Lock, Wanda, Jess, thank you all for joining me. 32 viewing. Thank you for your time, everybody. Take the polls on my community page pertaining to Sebastian Rogers and also this case here. Should the father have been arrested? That poll is also on my community page. And feel free to check out my movie suggestions for the week. There are 3 movie suggestions, 2 playing on Hulu. We got The Seeds, we got Death Saved My Life, and the Melanie McGuire story. 2 movies based on true stories, Lifetime movies, now playing on Hulu. And The Seeds. 3 movie suggestions for your enjoyment. Thank you for joining me. All right, everybody, get them votes up. Take the polls. Should Cole get life in prison? Yes, no, not sure. Possible parole. Should he get a possible parole? Leave detention? Go to a facility at the age of 18 or 21, a men's prison? Should, when he go to a men's prison, sometime in life be granted parole? He's just 14 years old. Naturally, he knows right from wrong. He acted this crime out. He made threats last year. Somebody called the school that morning, making threats. Was it him, other students? Troubled child, obviously. Should he pay the piper for the rest of his life? Weigh in. So far, nobody's voted possible parole. Interesting. Nobody's voted no. We got not sure and yes. Interesting. 7 votes. Automatic weapons, I guess they do, Jess. For him to buy them. What else are you going to use an automatic weapon for? You don't really need an automatic weapon, really. Even with hunting, I don't know why you need an automatic. I thought that's what you would use rifles for. To hunt deer and, bears, moose, whatever you're hunting. Deer, I don't know. I don't know anything about hunting. Years since I've been around a grandparent that hunted, and I didn't know anything about it when he was doing it, my grandfather. I guess they hunted, rabbits, deer, whatever. But I don't know why you need an AR-15 or an AR-style weapon to hunt animals. For what? This just goes to show you the priorities of people, the mindset of people. They spend all their money on things. You think about that monster upstate New York, Rex Heuermann. He had all those guns, 200, 300 something guns. For what? You only have 2 hands. You can't shoot one at a time. But yet their house was deplorable and hoarded up. This priorities. Priorities not straight. So now you got to ask yourself this. How were they living? Did the child have any other problems in school? Where's the mother? I haven't heard anything about a mother. I think a grandfather has spoken out. Were there other children in the house? What's up? What's going to happen if he has other children? What's going to happen to his house if they don't give him a bond? This is bad business for a father. But people are saying, well, he bought him a gun, so I don't know. I didn't see where he bought him a gun. But there were guns in the house. So was this the father's gun? It's bad. Should he get life in prison? Take the poll, everybody. And children are more violent now. They're wayward. We do have more problems with children and young people. Their attitudes are horrible. They have nasty mouths. They have nasty attitudes. And it's probably a combination, poor parenting, parents aren't around to watch, choose not to be around. They're over here, they're out here, they're running the streets, still acting like they're damn 13, 14 years old. So we have young people raising young people. That's one of our problems here in America. Too many people are young, raising young children. They want to hop, skip, drop it like it's hot. They like to fight, fuss, get high, vape, just do all type of crazy shit, smoke weed, cheat. Their priorities aren't straight. So now their kids grow up doing the shit their parents are doing. Then they go out, They're going to school, they're wayward, they're loud, they're ignorant. This is a horrible world we're in. And I don't understand why people keep popping these children out, just left and right, like they're Skittles, out of a damn candy machine. It's just ridiculous. Hey, Edward, good to see you. Take the poll, Edward. Should this boy stay in prison the rest of his life? Should he be granted parole at some point in life? Some will say he's just a kid, but he knew right from wrong. Weigh in. The father. Should the father be accountable for his child gunning down these people? Some say yes. I've seen a few of you commenting yes, he should be accountable. Some will probably say no, you can't take the parents down just for what their children are doing. But then you got to ask yourself, do you know the parent? You don't. Do you know how he's raising his kid? You don't. This might be a father who don't really give a fuck about his kid. Don't care what he's doing, not doing. But I fought the school because you should have never let him come back to the school. Stay woke. When he made the threats last year, you should have said, nah, we don't want him here. Show us that you changed. Then we'll let you back in. Because a lot of people don't take threats serious. But this is why you're supposed to take them serious, because if the child decides to buck up and act it out, they will. And this child did. He waited a year and he did it. So people, as I said, who are commenting saying, don't arrest kids, don't kick them out of school, you're a fool to say that. Just because they ain't shooting up the school when you think they should shoot up the school, it don't mean they won't do it. All right, thanks, babe. Don't know, Edward. It's a question I'm asking. Don't know what a mom is. I have to bring you more content on it. I think the grandfather, he spoke out pertaining to him. I thought I had that content. Let me see what I can find. Hold on. Whew, this is bad. Now everybody's gonna start coming out with a version. What happened? This is from the grandpa. "13 WMAZ is the source.
And his father, Maggie Fitzgerald, made her way to Ben Hill County today to talk with Colt Gray's mother's side of the family.
Colt Gray's family lives on the street behind me here in Fitzgerald, Georgia, and although they were not yet ready to speak on camera, we spoke with Colt's grandfather, who says that some of the blame should be put on the suspected shooter's father. Colin Gray now faces 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children.
Federal law enforcement will continue to work together around the clock in relation to this incident here.
We spoke with Colt's grandfather, Charlie Bullhorn, hours before the charges were filed against Colin Gray. Bullhorn told us he did not see his grandchildren or son-in-law often. Bullhorn's grandson, a student at Appalachia High, has been charged with 4 counts of felony murder of 2 students and 2 teachers. Bullhorn told 13 WMAZ his wife, Debbie, spoke with officials at Appalachia about their grandchild's behavior and attitude at school before the shooting. He says Colt was not part of that meeting. Bullhorn says Colt's parents have struggled with marital and personal problems, which has led Colt and his 2 siblings to shift back and forth between households. Bullhorn said the children were staying with Colin Gray in Barrow County last year. They are working to get the 2 younger children to stay with them in Fitzgerald. Bullhorn said, quote, "I understand that Colt did it, and he needs to pay the ultimate price. I understand that, and I don't disagree with that. But his dad is as guilty as Colt is." Colt Gray remains in custody at the Gainesville Regional Youth Detention Center. He has a bond hearing set for tomorrow at the Barrow County Courthouse. In Fitzgerald, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13 WMAZ News.
Paul Amos went on to tell Maggie that Colt Gray sent his mother a text yesterday saying he was sorry.
Okay, let me go back to the
talk
beginning.
with Colt Gray's mother's side of the family.
So that was the mother's side that spoke. The mother's parents spoke. mother's father spoke. So children shifting back and forth, marital problems. Son has called the mom, sent her a text to say he's sorry for what he's done. Well, he's showing remorse. Maybe he wanted attention, but that's the point. You've severed 4 lives to get some type of attention, little boy. That would lead me to believe you weren't getting enough attention from your parents. You were struggling with some type of issues with your parents, the world, ideologies, possibly child neglect. Who knows? Will we hear that there were allegations of child abuse, neglect of the children, any improprieties done against the children, mental, physical, sexual, what? He looks a little older in these pictures. He had a head full of hair. Looking at him in court, the back of his hair, I was looking at his hair. I don't know. I was thinking some crazy stuff. I don't want to repeat what I was thinking about his hair, but that hair dye for his hair, just weird looking. Now he's awarded state. He's in the state facility for boys. And if he think he had problems out here, bullying or mistreatment by his mom, dad, teachers, siblings, now you're going to be locked up with a bunch of boys, and I don't think they're going to be too nice because they're just as troubled as you are. Checkmate. So he's now going to get a dose of what cruelty is, because he's now going to be confined with a bunch of other badass boys. So now he has a new problem. Yes, Maryland, another school shooting, exactly, Edward, I mentioned it earlier in the live. Prayers for those people as well. That's all I got for today, everybody. I'm not going to hold you all, but this is bad. The schools in America are going to have to step up their game as far as security, such as what we have in the courthouse. You cannot go in a courthouse today without going through a metal detector. All doors need to be secured in the school. Sorry, but you don't have the manpower, you don't have the money to hire somebody, then you're going to continue to have these type of problems. Children are going to find ways to bring weapons into school. Staff members will bring weapons. And that's what everybody needs to understand. Today it's a student, tomorrow it's a staff, it's a teacher. It's the lady in the lunchroom, it's the janitor. You're not checking their backpacks, their travel bags, their lunch bags. Anybody could bring a weapon in. It's not going to always be a student shooting. Staff members can pop off too. So the schools need to be secure. All entry points need to have a guard and metal detectors. Batons to wave to see if the person has a weapon. If you're not going to invest in the security, you need to stop complaining about wayward children, wayward parents, because you can't have one without the other. It is a system. You can't control how children are raised. You can't control how they act. You can't control the parents. So you have to control the environment that you're over, which is the school. So put more security in the damn school. That's it. Yes, go to the voting polls in November. Make your vote count. You're a United States citizen. You've been given the right to vote if you're not a convicted felon. In most states, some states are allowing felons to get their rights. If you are a felon, go get your rights restored. Make your vote count. Thank you, Edward. I'm going to check out of here. 2-part live. Sebastian Rogers, dog bounty hunter, now on the case. Mr. Seth has spoken to News Nation. Miss Ashley Badfield. Go back to the beginning of this live stream to get the replay, to said information. Where is the child? Is he stashed? Is he alive? Is he deceased? Who's the culprits? Why are the parents still not cleared? Who knows where we can find Sebastian Rogers? And please, anybody with some sense, don't meddle in this case. Don't meddle in any of these true crime cases. Let law officials handle these cases. You're not a detective. You're not CIA, FBI, local state police. You have no business meddling in these cases. Stop calling the police on people. Stop meddling. These are real people missing, real people dead. And you're just making the situation worse with all this meddling. It's disrespectful. 15-year-old boy child missing. Show some respect. Thank you all for your time. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below this video. Take the polls on my page. Hold on. Let me go back 1 second. Hold on. Trying to go back into the chat 1 second. $16 votes. Should Coke get life in prison? 75% yes, 19% not sure, 6% possible parole. Thank you for taking the polls. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful week. Check my community page for older content for your enjoyment. 3 movie suggestions for the week, 2 based on true stories. All content playing on the Hulu app if you have Hulu. If not, order you a subscription. It's under $10 a month. Thank you for supporting this network. And also follow the Queen on IG, BigSexy.71, and Newsbreak app. Follow the Queen over there as well. You have been listening to The Vault XL. Thank you.